Hi, my name's Danny, and these are my diecast disasters. In this video, I'm going to make this 69 Mercury Cougar Eliminator into a post-apocalyptic zombie eliminator. I bought this car in a 5-pack, which cost me about $15. I begin by drilling the rivets and taking the car apart. I'm going to use the motor from this 1968 Mustang DTX 47 that was also in the 5-pack. I disassemble the car and cut out the motor. To fit the oversized motor, I'll have to cut a hole in the bonnet. I start by drilling some holes. I use a burr on my rotary tool to make a larger hole. Once there is enough room, I can use a file to finish making the hole to fit the motor. I use some steel wool to remove most of the paint from the body. I use a straight burr on my rotary tool to carve some deeper gouges and dents into the body of the car. I use a round burr to put small dents all over the car. I need some epoxy putty. I make it flat and cut out some squares and rectangles. I use a little pointy tool to make some rivet holes. Once they have mostly hardened, I can remove them from the plastic. I use my rotary tool to grind the end of some nails until they look like short, roughly hand-beaten spikes. I cut off the spikes with a cutting disc. I glue my riveted metal patches here and there on the body of the car. I tidy them up a little by gently sanding them. I use Tamiya putty to stick the spikes onto some of the metal plates. Once this was cured, I airbrushed the car body with some dry rust effect paint. I cover the car with a dark tone wash. I give the patches and spikes a coat of gunmetal silver. I grind up some sepia tone pastels. I brush this mixture all over the car where I want rust. I give it a coat of Tamiya flat clear. I give it another dark wash, focusing on the lines and details of the car. I grind up more lighter sepia pastels and some orange pastel and add more lighter rust patches here and there on the car. After another coat of Tamiya flat clear has dried, I use some silver weathering powders to highlight the metal patches and spikes. I need some more epoxy putty. I make another couple of small rectangles. Before these are fully cured, I bend them to make rolled up and folded blankets. I add some small hammers and a shovel. I cut out some mesh to put over the windscreen. I paint the motor in gunmetal. I paint the air filters red. I give the painted motor a dark wash. I glue the motor into the bonnet of the car. I remove the wheels from the base. I'm going to use the bull bar from this Matchbox Mercedes 4x4. I glue the bull bar to the base and add a small plastic strengthening panel. I spread some Tamiya putty out over this. Once it's cured, I sand it down. I paint the base silver. I airbrush it with a thin down coat of rust effect paint. I give this a dark wash. I cut off a length of small chain and glue it hanging over the bull bar. I apply rust coloured and then some black pastel to the base. To help the bull bar stand out, I painted it again in gunmetal and then gave it rust and wash treatment. I cut some cracks in the windscreens and then dabbed it with some sand weathering powders. The interior was primed, painted brown, given a wash and then sprayed with Tamiya flat clear. I put some real riders on the base and then gave them a rust effect. I put the car back together. I had to cut a small amount off of the interior section to allow for the motor under the bonnet. I add some gunmetal weathering powder to the body of the car, focusing on high points. I use sand weathering powder to finish. Let's take a quick look back at how our Mercury Cougar Eliminator looked when we started. Now bring on the zombie apocalypse. And here is our finished zombie Eliminator, ready to go battle the undead in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. This custom Hot Wheels car only took 1 weekend to make and was great fun. You could spend a little longer making more spikes and metal patches and make something really interesting. Thanks heaps for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.